Hey guys, it's Mary Beth. Cassie's having some technical difficulties, so I didn't want to wait too much longer because I know you guys are probably dying to get in here. So I am gonna shut my video off for a second because I'm gonna go peek at Slack and see how she's doing. So if you guys don't mind, just sit tight for a couple minutes and hopefully we'll be starting shortly.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, hi Cassie, there you are. Oh, thank goodness. Let me turn my video back on.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
All right, that's good. I'm glad that worked.
Yeah.
I opened it up, so we've got some people here. So I'm going to say hi to everybody and welcome. We've got Cassie, thank goodness, is here, and she's going to talk to you guys about Elementor. How do you say it, Cassie?
It's Elementor. You said
Elementor.
it right. Yeah.
I always say it like it's a dinosaur, Elementor. So she's going to give you guys an overview of Elementor and how it works and some different ways that you can use it. We had a couple questions in Slack this week actually about using it on your homepage. So initially we were just going to show you a sales page as an example, but we'll show you what you can do a little bit with your homepage too. Thanks, Sasha. Cassie, you've been around longer than me. I think maybe Sasha might be around the longest, but when did you join BBC Data Clunker?
I think it was August of 2017 or so.
Oh, so that's the same, almost exactly the same as me.
Yeah, because I think I saw the email, the script sent, and I'm like, oh, I've been in for a year. Okay.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was exactly the same then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cassie, you know her in Slack as Cassie P, and she blogs at CassandrePierre.com. It's very much a business site, that one, I would say. It's a business. Cassie's got templates that she sells. I'll link you guys to those at the end in case you decide that Elementor is just too much to create from scratch. You can use her templates. They're great. I've used them in the past. They're so easy to use. And she also does theme redesign. So she's great at this stuff. She's helped a lot of members. I think she's gonna do a great job and show us a lot of good stuff today. Did I forget anything, Cassie?
Nope, you pretty much covered everything.
All right, so she's gonna share her screen with you. And she's got slides and stuff she's going to go through, just an overview, and then she'll do, some demonstrations too. So I'm going to turn it over to Cassie. Cassie's not going to, you're not going to do on camera, right?
No, I won't because it wasn't working. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. You won't get to see Cassie's beautiful face, but
don't worry.
I'm kind of glad that happened because I want you guys to know that it's not essential. You don't have to be on camera to do one of these. I'm more than happy to take all the camera time. Okay, Cassie, go ahead.
Yes, hi everyone. Good morning. I'm not a morning person, but this is usually around the time I'm up and alive. And so, like Mary Beth said, this is just a quick Elementor overview. I'm actually a WordPress designer. So that's what my main website is about. I do help people with either customizing their themes or redoing their websites. In a sense, we're trying to update it so it could be it's much easier for people to navigate and find your services, your products, and your blog posts. So let's get right to it. Like I said, this is Elementor simple tutorial for non-designers and bloggers. And basically, what we're going to cover is the difference between the free version versus the pro version, which I currently use. What are the best themes you can use with this page builder? It's for the most part, you can use it for any theme, but there are some things that it just makes it a lot more powerful and a lot easier for you. Other examples of what types of things you can do with the page builder, and of course, design elements. And originally, I was just going to do an example for sales pages, but then like Mary Beth mentioned earlier, there was a lot of people on Slack talking about home pages. So I'm going to give you guys 2 demos actually. So yay for you guys. So quick overview. Elementor is technically a plugin. It's a page builder, and they offer you a free version. You can get it in WordPress directory plugins. And the difference between the Elementor free and the pro is obvious. Well, in some sense, there's certain elements that they provide for you in the free version that you can go ahead and start testing it out if you're not so sure about making the purchase. But if you're someone who is tight on a budget and you're just starting out, you can still use Elementor, the free version, which I started out with actually. But because I'm a little bit more advanced in customizing, designing, I eventually switched over to Elementor Pro. And so now the features that they currently have is a lot more, but I kind of try to give you guys a short, simple list. Are the essentials like drag and drop. You guys who are not designers will love this because you'll have a section on the left that gives you all types of widgets. And the widgets can be anything from images, it can be anything from your content blogs, things of that nature. Then you have the marketing aspect. If you need to create landing pages, if you need a form, which is more on the pro version side, you have an option to drop your testimonials, carousel widgets. If you have a countdown that you need, like you're promoting a new product or service and you want to have a countdown feature, they have that. And recently they just came out with a pop-up builder, which is so awesome. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out right now. But most of this, like I said, a few of them are mainly on the pro version. And then for the mobile responsive, which is very important for any online business, you need to be able to have your website pretty much mobile responsive on a smartphone, a tablet, or any other mobile device, because a lot more people are more than likely going to view your website on a mobile device versus a desktop. So that's very, very important. But that is definitely included in the free version, so you're good to go with that. So here are just a list of the best themes that will work with Page Builder. A few of you guys may recognize the names of the themes because I know there's a few people who've actually used these themes, and I've actually helped a few members create or revamp their site, and they already had a theme, like the Genesis theme. Hands down, Elementor goes well with it. You have Sydney. There's also the Generate Press, which I believe I did see Mary Dennis mention that, and Michael the other day. The Hestia. I have Astra actually, and they have a free version of that theme. Also, you can always find that in the WordPress directory as well. Ocean, WP, Zacra, Philox, Tesseract, Sonar, Neve, and of course the 2016, which is basically a default WordPress theme that you can get for free, and Ash. But this is, like I said, just a short list. There's more other themes that work with it, so you don't have to worry if you don't see the list, the name of your theme on here. So what are the pros of this page builder? Well, if you are familiar with page builders or not, the thing is, the purpose of a page builder is to help enhance any of your themes, and it creates endless possibilities for design and customization. So let's say you have a theme out of the box and you're like not really happy with the default settings that they have. When you add the page builder, in this case Elementor, it pretty much brings in more of the bells and the whistles, but also to help you like get the functionality that you need for your site, for yourself on the back end, but also for your users when they're coming onto your site. So I'm all for page builders. And it's also cost effective too when you think about it, because if you already purchased a theme and you really don't want to go and shop for another one, when you add the page builder to that equation, it actually helps you save money and in the long run. But then, of course, you still always have the option to switch your theme you know, depending on how far you are and where you are on your online journey. The cons of having the page builder. Whenever you're learning anything new, there's a learning curve. So there's a lot of trial and error if like you don't have a background in design, which is okay. But if you have patience and time, then, you know, it might not be a con. But I know for some people, they might need something done like yesterday. And then, of course, the other con is that it's a tool. So it doesn't replace the theme. Sometimes people just want a whole new theme altogether. But in order for the page builder to work, you have to already have a theme, because that's all it is. It's just a page builder, not a theme builder. And then, of course, the compatibility issues. Some plugins may not work well with Elementor. So I've had incidences with sites that I've built, and also for those that I've worked on. And if depending on how many plugins you have, sometimes if you have too many plugins, it can slow down your site. Your images, you have to be mindful of that as well, if how long it helps load on your website. But then when it comes to Elementor, some things may conflict with it because of the coding. So what will happen is I usually would have to go in and turn them off like temporarily and test each one to see which one is giving the problem. And it's happened a few times, but overall it's not that big of a problem. But for someone who may have 30 different plugins, you might have to start shaving them off, especially if you don't really use them on a consistent level. So what are the types of things you can do with this page builder? One-page websites, actually. So let's say you're just starting out and you do not have any content and you just only have enough that it can just fill one page. You can do that in the meantime while you're building out content. So this page builder actually does a great job with helping you set one up. And then, of course, landing pages, which is one of the things that I help people out with, because I was struggling with landing pages at one point. I didn't understand, why isn't there any way to build one and someone kind of guide me through it? I knew how important they were, but once I learned the process, I decided to create templates so that it was like, okay, I can always refer back to this and I can always use this as a guide and just always rinse and repeat. You can also make forms, pop-ups, like I said earlier, and there's so much more things you can do. I can only cover so much because we only have a certain amount of time. But overall, I'm really like a big fan of page builders. And even if you don't use Elementor, I know there's Beaver, there's Divi. I've used Divi in the past. They're pretty cool. They're okay. But I think overall, Elementor has actually surpassed them in certain levels. So that's why right now I only use Elementor. So an example, we can do a homepage revamp. And obviously what you need is a WordPress site, Elementor plugin, content, and images. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and open another tab so you guys can see. There we go. So this is the back end of my personal website. So I have test pages. So I'm just gonna go with the test page. But originally what would happen is when you're trying to create your home page, you basically go to pages, you select add new. But before you do all that, of course, since if you do not have the plugin yet, you will go into the plugin and then you select add new. And then you would go and type in Elementor. And like I said, Elementor has the free version, so that's available to you inside WordPress. So you're pretty much set in that case. Give me a minute, my internet tends to be slow. I don't know, I switched internet service providers. Okay, here we are. So you'll type in Elementor and it should populate for you. And this is what it looks like. And since I already currently have it, I'm good to go. I do know that if you do have your Elementor Pro, you may still need the Elementor Original, the free one, just in case, just so that it can piggyback off of it. And so, like I said, you come here, type that in, you download it, then you activate it and all that jazz. And what happens, it'll populate right here on your left side. And then you'll have all these here settings, custom fonts, your role managers, tools, system, getting started, get help, essential add-ons. This happens to actually be an additional add-on plugin that I use just to give me a little bit more oomph, if that makes sense. So we'll go back to the pages. And since I already have a test page, I'm not going to do the whole add new, but for you guys, you just go ahead and select add new. So I have a test page and here's what we will do. You'll open it, whenever you open your page, you name it what you want to name it. In this case, we're going to say, I'm leaving it as test, but I know it's going to be home page. This is what it will look like for you on the back end, because you already have your Elementor plugin activated. So normally, originally you would have your WordPress editor, but because we're not going to use that, we select edit with Elementor. And then what it'll do, it'll take us to the Elementor page. I hope you guys can see everything, because I know sometimes.
Yeah, we can. I know I can. You guys in chat, you can see everything, right?
Okay.
They said they couldn't, so.
Okay. Okay, this was a test page I had already started, but I'm going to start everything from scratch for you guys because I do this all the time. So, okay, when I was explaining to you the widgets, this is the widgets on the side. This where it says basic, this is for the free version of Elementor. And you'll see for me, because I have the pro version, this is all the stuff I get for pro. Okay, so I get post, portfolio, form. Unfortunately, that was one of the things that I was aggravated about when I did use the basic. I couldn't find a form widget. They didn't have it. So then that's when the add-on came into play for me, because of course I was testing it out and trying to figure out what's the best thing to do in the meantime until I could afford it, or, you know, make the decision to actually invest into the pro version, which is always a good thing. You always want to test run anything before you spend money on it. That's my whole spiel about that. And then of course, this is the general things like testimonial tabs, progress bars, social icons, etc. This is good stuff. So now, this was like what I mentioned earlier, the essential add-ons. You can use this plugin in addition to the free version, and it kind of gives you those options without you having to pay for a pro version. But don't tell them I said that, but I'm just letting you know there is a workaround, and if you're not ready to make that investment, this is one way of doing that, okay? So here we are. I hope you guys can see this part. This is the settings, and currently what you see is what you would go in Elementor. And because right now I have a transparent menu, so you see my logo and you see my menu, but I don't want that.
Cassie?
Yeah.
Is that down in the bottom left?
Yes, bottom left.
Okay. You guys might be able to see it. I can't, just because my little bar for Zoom is covering it, but hopefully you guys can see it.
Yeah, just go ahead and move your bar to the side, Mary Beth. That's what I just did for mine as well.
My screen is so cluttered.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So right here, when you select settings, it tells you the title of your page, your status, and if you have a featured image, you can put it here if you want. But in this case, because I'm building a home page, I don't want a featured image. It's going to be totally different. And then of course you have the option to hide the title of your page. If you want it to say home, you can turn it on and turn it off, whichever works. For me, I just don't bother because they should know by the time they get on my page. It's the home page. Anyway, they have the page layout, which is very important. You have the default, the Elementor canvas, and Elementor full width. Elementor full width is what my page is currently because it shows my menu. But if I do Elementor canvas, that means it has no header, no footer, just pure Elementor. You are starting with a blank canvas. So if you're someone who has no idea what you're doing, you might want to stay with the Elementor full width or the default. But the default technically is your theme's layout. So it says this is the default page template from your theme. So that's what that is. But because I like to do everything full width, I'm going to do it full width, and I'm going to leave my menu because you'll understand like once I'm done why it looks like that. So here we are. This is the first step. We're going to select add a new section. This is what the plus sign indicates. When you hover over it, it even tells you. What's next to it, where you have the folder, are the templates. They give you options to free templates that you can go ahead and piggyback off of. But if you're not someone who is like good at breaking things apart and putting them back together, I would advise against it. But if you're someone who doesn't mind breaking things apart, trying to figure it out and making your own out of it, go for it. The only thing is when you do have the free version, you're limited to the choices, because then the majority of the rest of the choices are pro version, which is fine. Like I said, there's always a workaround. So here we are. I'm going to select a section. It tells you to select your structure. Because I want to have a header image here, I'm selecting this particular structure. So it comes up and it's blue. This gives me an idea, let me know I'm only editing that section, and then it populates right here on the left, telling me, okay, you're only working on this section, so I don't have to worry about messing anything up. If I had more sections, then I'll know what I'm working with. So because I want my image to be stretched further, and like I said, because I'm doing full width, I select stretch section. This is content width. You can have it boxed or you can have it full width. I like to leave it boxed. And then this is where you have your columns, your height, current position, overflow. Some of this might be Greek to many of you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Cassie got you. So in the meantime, since I want to drop the picture, I select style. And what happens is you go ahead and look at the background, and it says background type, which is classic, gradient, or an actual background video. I've actually made a background video for one of the sites for one of our members, and she loved it, and it was really cool. So, but I'm going to keep it simple for you guys. And I'm going to select an actual image. You do have the option to put a color. Your colors will not look like this, obviously, because they have default colors. And if you need to create your default colors, you click on what I just clicked on over here and select default colors. And what happens is you put your color palette, like you set it up yourself, which is in my case, this is my primary color. I had my hex number. Yes, guys, I'm teaching you some design terms, so bear with me. The hex number is the actual identifier number for your brand colors. So this is where you will put it. And of course, you want to put your secondary, your text. If you want your text to have pitch black, or in my case, I like it to be a gray, a darkish gray. That means anything I drop in text-wise, that's what my text is going to look like. And then I have an accent color. Now, if you don't have any colors yet for your brand, they provide you with a few options as just suggested. So like you have pastel, river, earth, urban, things of that nature. But I digress. Going back, because I want to do my section. So I go back here and I click on here, and now I'm going to add an image. Your images normally come from your media library. And what happens is sometimes you might not have an image in your media library. That's okay too. You could just go and select upload files, and then you select the file and it'll bring up your file finder. I'm currently using an iMac, but wherever you have your images on your computer, it'll bring it for you. You just select it and drop it in. And that's pretty much common for all WordPress websites. So it's not that hard to do. So in this case, we're going ahead and we're going to select an image. I'm going to pick this gentleman because he looks very, professional, and he looks like he's actually getting some work done. And so I select insert media. At this moment, you cannot really see him, which is okay. I'm going to fix that. His position, the position is default, which is automatic, but I like it to be center for what I'm going to do. My attachment, I can have it scrolled or fixed. Fixed is pretty much when you're scrolling up and down the site and the picture looks like it's moving, but it's actually, everything else is moving, but the picture stays in place. That's what fixed means. Then you have the repeats, no repeat. I don't want it to repeat. And then the size, you have auto, you have cover, which for me is what I prefer because it covers the whole full section for me. And here's the best part. Now I'm going to let you guys in on an advanced secret. This is what is important when you're building your images in your sections. It doesn't matter what section you're on, if it's the top, middle, or bottom. In order for people to see what you have to be concerned with padding. So in this case, you guys don't see him right now, and that's okay. I'm gonna help you with that. So now once I start selecting my padding, you're gonna start seeing him. And let me guys know if you see him. Do you see him?
Yeah, we see him.
See?
Yeah.
That's what padding does for you. It kind of stretches it out. Margins are important too, but because I need I don't want any gaps up here, I'm not messing with the margins right now. So, and even if you don't have an idea what padding is, let's just say padding helps you give you like more space. It helps expand your images or gives you enough space in your boxes so that it doesn't look like everything is all smushed together, if I can put it in layman's terms. So now, if you can see here, this is a column and it has a plus sign. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to the Elementor section right here. And I closed out some of this stuff. And I'm going to click on the basic and I want to put a heading here. And all I have to do is drag and drop. This is my heading. So I can put something in here and just say, you know, welcome to my site, or whatever it is you want to put in here. You can put a link if you want. So if someone clicks on it and it takes them somewhere else. If you want to change the style is going to always be your best friend because you can change the text color. Like I can turn it white, black. These are all my default colors that I selected, all that jazz. And I'm just gonna keep it simple, put it black. And after that, I have the option of motion effects. Sometimes I like to make things fade in, or I have the option of having it fade to the left like that. I can also check the responsiveness, which is what I mentioned to you guys earlier. If, let's say, for example, you don't want it to show up on your tablet or your mobile, you have the option to select don't show, hide. But I usually show them because I want people to know where they are so they know what's going on. Okay, so that's just a little thing right there. Background. I don't necessarily want anything in the background of my heading, so I'm going to just leave that one alone. So now I'm going to go back to my section, which is this whole block right here. And I like to do something called overlays. And especially if let's say the image is a bit too bright for me, or it's not with the look that I'm looking for. And so I would select background overlay. You can do colors, and you can also do images as well. In this case, I'm just going to do a color. So I think I'm going to go with the gray. So you see how that looks? Kind of soften it up a bit, and then my text stands out a lot more. And of course, if I do want to make my text bigger, I would go under typography and pretty much change the style of it. or the size of it. So if I wanted it to be more than, like, let's say 29 or 30, I can do that. If I want to change the font family, I can go here. Normally, you can have your fonts already preset, so you don't have to worry about it. In my case, I already do have mine as, I think it's Railway. Yeah, mine is Railway. So it's already set.
My font too.
Yeah, I didn't have to do it because I already have it preset, and it's normally when you click these three lines, this is where you do your fonts, default fonts. They're always here. So like primary, see, I already had it.
Nice.
And secondary, I already had it. And then you put the weight, and then your body text is what is the content that goes in here. So this is what makes it really great. I love it because once I do it, I set it and I forget it, and I don't have to go in and do it more than once, because that could be a nightmare. All right, so the next thing here I'm going to show you is I'm going to drop a block. This is under the templates, and this is free for everyone in Elementor. Most of them are free, most of them are not, but I'm going to show you the free ones. So we have blocks, pages, and the template. So here's blocks. And these are basically anything, like you can say you want to put a description or give a brief overview of what the site is, or what your audience should expect to get from your website when they see it. And what it gives you the option to do is click on the little, I guess, microscope thing, and then you look at it and say, okay, is this what I want? And I'm like, okay, I think I like this. And so I select insert, and then it's going to drop in that section for me. I love these because then I don't have to create a section. It does it just for me. And look at that. Welcome to my site. And this is just dummy text. It makes sense. You can always, change it. And what you do is always select your pencil. And this is where you would update it, like with your own content right here. You can change the alignment if you want it to the left, center, right, or justified. I like things centered. It's very simple. And you add your text here. Like I said, my text is gray, so this is what it would look like. And then of course this is just another thing here. You click read more if you want people to, or it to go to another page. In this case, this would go to a different link if someone clicked to read more. All right. So when I told you I had it fixed, you see how the image is staying in place, but when I scroll, it moves. This is what fixed means. If I put it on scroll, the picture and everything will move together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is just, I'm just gonna do something really simple right here. One of the things that I learned when it came to marketing and design was that you want things to be, you want white spaces, but you also want to add a little color, and just to give the eye something to look at differently. But as long as it's like, don't go crazy doing so many colors. If you have like 4 specific colors or 2, I try to keep them to a minimum of 2 certain colors, then that's what I'm gonna go with. In my case, I have like a type of bluish color going on. And so my next section, I would just go ahead and drop something in and put a color. And in this case, it's this, my default color. And because I want to put like, a little quote, or I want to just make a simple statement, I would put it here. So it kind of breaks down the website. So it's not just a picture, plain white, and nothing else. So that's how I would break it down. This is just a simple homepage. You guys can do whatever you want. This is why I love the page builder. You can play around with it. It is not limited to your imagination. You can do whatever you want on there. Of course, I would advise you to try to keep it as simple as possible because you want your customers to know what you do. So in my case, I'll say I help customize WordPress sites or something to that nature. Can't really see it now. I got to change my text color and I'll put it white. There it is. And then change this. And of course, I'll go back and change the font size or whatever. But at least, you know, when you come here, it's like, you know, welcome, and here's a little blurb, and then here's what I do. Because you want someone to know, what exactly am I doing here? What exactly does this page tells me? And then this next section, I like to use this where you can put your recent blog posts, for example. I selected 3. So what I would do, and I won't touch anything else for right now, I would go into my widgets. And another thing, you have the option, if you don't want to scroll through the whole thing, you could just type it up. So like I'll type in recent posts. And sometimes you have to, depending on which one, what style you want. In this case, this is the default WordPress one. I'm not a fan of it, so I don't really use this one. But this is an example of what it would look like if you use the default WordPress one. Now, if you don't want to do that one, there is another one that I believe I've used in either Pro Widgets or, oh, that's what it was. It was the Essential Add-ons. This is a plugin that's free as well. And like I said, this is for people who are not so sure if they want to go to Pro version. The Essential, it's called Essential Add-ons for Elementor, and it will pretty much kind of do the same thing I'm doing with my Pro, but instead it's just a third-party plugin. But it's very compatible with Elementor. I think I'm gonna go with this one, post list. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I should have just done 1 section and not 3 if I do it this way. Bear with me, guys. It's been a while since I've done this one. And I'm gonna move it to here. There we go, much better. There we go. So as you can see here, this is not the color I normally do, but you select how many posts you want per page. So you can do 3, you can do 2, whatever your heart's desire. I think I have 6. That's one way of doing it. This is just one way. You can do it by dates, by author, title, etc. I just do it by date for right now. You can do it descending or ascending order, whichever is, you know, works your fancy.
Cassie,
and then,
sorry.
Yeah.
Can you put, does it have to be recent posts, or can you put specific posts that you want to link to? Like I'm thinking about in a post having links out to other posts. Can you customize those in there?
Yeah, definitely. You can do featured posts if you want. If you want to have a specific post. So I would like I can get rid of this, for example, and you select delete, and then you want to featured post. Let me see if it's in this widget. Because I know for my, let's see something real quick. Give me a minute. I'm going to pull up my actual website. Because I know for my actual website, I have, I'm trying to think here. Nope, this time. I do have featured blog posts, and it would, or recent posts, whichever way you want to name it. And you can, like you said, link it out to another one.
So you can check the links that go in there.
Yeah, you can do that. Like, this is my original homepage, guys. So bear with me. But like, okay, this is how I have mine looking like this. And so if someone wants to read more, you know, they click on it and then it takes them to the actual blog post. And then, like you said, if you have links, you know, or in your case, if you want to say related blog posts, because I know sometimes people like to put that on their homepage, you can do that as well. It's just a matter of your format. I just try to keep it as simple as possible for the mere fact that you don't want to overwhelm anyone when they get on your homepage, because one of the things we already know, the bounce rate when it comes to homepages, people don't really stay on your homepage. They'd rather go straight to your blog or to see what's going on. But if you have something that's easy to navigate, then they don't actually mind staying on your homepage. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So
but you can put that block into a post, right? Is that
you mean, oh, this block that I have here on my page?
Yeah.
I believe we can. Like I said,
I'm just curious. Keep going. I'll ask you specifically in Slack later.
Yeah.
That's something I definitely want to do.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much, that's fine. And everything just wanted to go white now all of a sudden.
Oh no.
Sorry guys, have a little technical difficulties.
But we actually have a couple oh, here we go.
Okay.
All right. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's fine. So that was right now. Let me just grab a recent posting from. I'm trying to think here. Where it is. Oh, and there's another thing too. You have social icons too, guys. So I like to put my social icons on the bottom so that people can know they can share or go feature or check out your social media profiles to that nature as well. I always put that on the homepage, which is kind of, it makes sense to do that. And of course you can put them anywhere on your blog as well. One of the things, like I said, that I love about Elementor, they have almost everything. If you have people who left you testimonials and you want to drop a testimonial, I think I have one of you, Mary Beth. I think I have a picture of you somewhere in my media library.
I'm probably blonde in it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
But, yep, there you go. There she goes. And so I can put, you know, my testimonial here and go ahead and like put, you know, Mary Beth and just type in the person's name, and then you can put what they do. I'm just like, she's just, you know, she rocks. On DTC. You know, and then of course, whatever the testimonial was, you can put it here, which is where you put it right here actually.
The testimony was probably also she rocks.
Yeah. She rocks. And then you have the option to put a picture to the side, on the top of the person, like that. Cool stuff. There's so many cool stuff you guys can do. I can't get through all of this, but I just know that this will help a lot of people. In this case, now here's what I was talking about, margins, for example. Because this is where it's at, I don't want it to be so close up. So this is where I will do the margins. Kind of like move it. And then it's all about aesthetics, people, because you just want things to just look visually nice and not be like, oh, this is a pain. I don't want to be on this website any longer. Things to that nature. And so, yeah, so this is just a testimonial widget. And like I said, you guys are not limited to anything. Recent posts, I know that's, like I said, is really big. I did one time make one for, let me see if I can find her sites. I created this site for a DTC member, and she pretty much had brought, unfortunately, a theme, and the theme was so complicated. Oh, that's not it. That can't be her. Where is she? Zero fit something. Let me go on Google, figure this out. Yeah, there it is, Shiro Fitness. Woo. I mean, almost had a heart attack. She put on Fit Life.
Cheryl
I'm like,
Fitlife.
her, she's not with Wix. This was for one of our members. I helped her. Like I said, she purchased a theme, but her theme on the back end was horrendous. It was Greek, even for someone who is not a designer. And me as a designer, I went through thinking I could help customize it using that. And it was a complete nightmare. So I just told her to get her money back. And then I explained to her what exactly she wanted to do. And my job is to pretty much take that interpretation and bring it to life. I actually did a little bit more than what she anticipated, but she loved it. I helped her create this logo. And this is actually Corey. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Corey, but I found her this image. And this is most of this homepage were blocks. Okay, like this part right here is an actual block. And then we broke down her categories: beauty, nutrition, mind, fitness, like that.
This came out gorgeous.
Yeah, and then I found her, I had some images I gave her that were in line with what she's trying to promote. And then, you know, I created an origin story. So this is her, and she has her story. And then I just created at the bottom right here, just a simple, just like a image of a woman, and then just put a quote. I think quotes are really nice because it kind of transcend your value system or what you're about, what your site is about. And here, right here, this is recent blog post. This is how she has hers for right now.
Yeah.
And then we ended it with this. And then, like I said, icons. And then she put her disclaimer here. And this is how simple, because if I showed you what she had before, you would be like, this is
I remember, Cassie. It's a nightmare.
But I explained to her, sometimes less is more. And she said that the moment she shared it with her group and a few people who knew what her site was not looking like before, she said they were super stoked.
Yeah, and she's someone who I think if she hadn't had help, had an easier way to do it, there's a lot of people like that who just are ready to just throw in the towel and quit because it's so much to learn. I don't want to rush you along, but we're getting late and I know we have a bunch of questions. Did you want to show a little bit of the
sales page? Yeah. All right, guys. Save draft, good stuff. Moving on to the sales page. Sales pages are interesting, as I learned. And so I'm going to go ahead and go in my test sales page. So for anyone who has an ebook or meal plan, whatever it is, sales pages are your best friend because that's where you can go ahead and feature a good description of everything. And it works for you even when you're not on your computer, which is great. So like I said, I already have a test sales page. So I'm going to edit with Elementor. It's the same steps. You need a WordPress site. You need the Elementor plugin. You need your content and you need your images. So as you can see here, this is something I had already started. But what I'm going to do for you guys, since, you know, this is actually my template. And this is what I said, I use this myself because sometimes you don't want to have to do this from scratch because it can be a nightmare. So I'm going to create a new one for you guys. And I will show you how easy it is to just copy and paste, just drop what you want to drop, and then go from there. So I'll put dummy test, dummies, because you always got to give it a name. Save it in draft, and then select edit with Elementor. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how quickly the time was going.
It goes fast. It
does. Like, we just started. Like, are you guys even having fun with me here? We just started.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of questions for you too.
Okay, cool. All right. So, sales page. Like I said, here we go, widgets on the side. When you're doing a sales page, you do not want your layout to be your theme default. You want it to be Elementor Canvas. Reason being is for the fact that you want your audience to only be on that page. You do not want them to go anywhere else until they've gone through it and you pretty much say, this is what you're here for, to purchase, buy, and buy some more. So here I'm going to go ahead and just grab my template. It's in my template library, and being, like I said, this makes everyone's life easier, because I know when Mary Beth told me she needed one, I said, sure, Mary Beth, here you go. I'm going to that I did
something to sell.
Yes.
I have the same sales page template, but no product.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a sales page template that I put together, like I said, because I was frustrated. I was learning about sales, the sales funnel process and all that jazz. And I'm like, wow, but nobody has anything out there really that tells you, where do you put here? What do you put here? So this is what it will look like if you use a template. You pretty much have it laid out for you, and it tells you, write your offer name. See, I have an image here. You can always go back, change the image to whatever you want it to be. And like I said, I've already created the sections. It has all the things. So if you want your information, say, write and illustrate your core frustration for your ideal customer here. And then this is where you would say, you know, choose any of these things sound familiar, which is basically you name their pain points. And then you give them a, what if you could, and you write, write your content here. And then of course, here's what you'll get. This is just a dummy picture. You can put whatever here. If you're selling a service, an ebook, a meal plan, whatever, if you have an image, drop it in here. And then of course, this is where you will list out what they get from your product or your service, etc. Then you write your call to action to seal the deal. You write a small description, and even if you don't want to write a description, that's fine. You could delete that. And then you create your button. In this case, this was a button I already created. When I click on it to change it, I can change the color. Sorry guys, I'm going fast because I want to give you guys a chance to ask questions and all that jazz. And you can change your background color, etc. I can change it to like this color, whatever. And if you have testimonials from people already, you can go ahead and put them here. You can switch the picture. If you don't want it to the left, you can switch it to the right. Like it's everything is laid out for you. And then of course you put your picture up, you tell them who you are, what you do, and then of course the last one. But this is a very long one. You don't have to have a very long sales page. You could just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and that's it. And seal the deal. As long as you tell them, remind them, hey, get it today. This is your call to action area. Like I said, you can change the background color to your default colors, etc. And then of course, if you want to say who is it for, this is for you if, and then you list them out. If it's not for them, this is what you would put. And then frequently asked questions. You know, what you think of the most common asked questions you would have from your clients. And then down here, I just wrote a copyright, but you have the option to change it and put the year, and you don't have to leave this design by. You could just put the year of the company and put your name, your business name, and then of course your terms and conditions, and boom, you're done. That's
Kathy, sorry to interrupt you. Can you take that call to action block and just copy it and put it in multiple spots?
Of course, if you want, that's the best part. Here's how you duplicate. You select this, right click, and you see where it says duplicate. Mm-hmm. Now you got 2. And then if you want to drag it somewhere else, you just hold on to this and you move it where you want to move it. In this case, we'll see if I can drag this up. I can drag it right here. See? So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Or, and that's another thing too. Let's say you know you have to do, in this case, like what you said, the call to action, you have to put in more than one place. Type it up, drop your content in there, and then just duplicate and just drop it where you need to drop it over and over without having to go and type it up over and over and over and over again. I just did it this way so that people can have an idea of how it can look on the blank side. Now I can show you how mine turned out when I did mine. Sorry guys, it might be considered a shameless plug, but that is not my intention. I'm just trying to show you.
It's good to see it in action.
Okay, I'm just gonna show it to you so you can see what it looks like with actual content, with an actual copy, all that jazz. So in my case, this would be, where you at? Is it this one? What is this one? Is it this one? Yep, this is it. This is my actual landing page templates. And this is what it looks like with words, with actual words that make sense. So like I said in the template, it says, you know, put your offer here, which is what I am. I'm telling you guys, you're getting landing page templates and then so forth. And I put my button. You always want to put as many buy buttons as possible. In my case, I created a video and you can click on it and, you know, I actually didn't want to write all of this and I had the content written out. I'm like, this is just too much reading. So I took that same content and made a quick video for it. And they can read it a bit, images, nice light music, you know. And then if they like what they saw, great. They can, and I gave them the option, you can get your templates here. And then if they still weren't convinced, then I'm like, okay, here's, maybe you have this issue, you know, you want to try to scale your business, you need to create a sales funnel, but you keep pushing it back and it's frustrating, you have FOMO. Things that I was frustrated too. And then of course, I'm like, here is my landing page templates. And then I also give you the options to view each template by itself. And then I have some testimonials from lovely Brianna, who's also a team member. I don't know if she's on here, but just in case she is. And then I featured, these are my features. And once again, I give them the option to view it so they can see it in real time. And then of course, my next call to action again. And then I tell them what they're getting. And then I, you know, put some, you know, don't wait. So don't wait any longer, et cetera, things to that nature. And then I gave them 3 examples. And then I, you know, the webinar funnel, the tripwire offer. And then here's Mary Beth.
Me again.
She was kind enough to give me her testimonial. And then I introduced myself briefly so people could know who was behind it. I'm like, yes, this is me when I'm looking alive. And then one more time, and then I put this is for you if, and then I give you the steps, first, second, and third, and frequently asked questions. And like I said, this is a long one, and you don't have to do it this long. You can take out as much as you want. As long as it covers the basis for you and it hits all the points, you're good to go. I would always advise you to always have a buy button at the bottom, no matter what. But if you can put as many as, you know, hey, buy it now, that's great. Because they might be like, okay, I'm convinced once I got to here. I don't need to go further. That's fine. Go ahead. It gives them the option to go ahead and buy it and so forth. Demos. Because this is a digital product, it's hard for people to kind of imagine what it looks like. So, you know, I created this demo page and I explained it. I mean, you know, just click on it and, you know, these are the different ones you would get. This is what it will look like. The reason why they're set up in these colors is because it's my colors. But like I said, you can customize it to your brand colors, to your font, to all the products that you're making. Down the road, I will have smaller bundles for people who might not want all of these. I'm working on that, where I would have like an opt-in page bundle, and it just pretty much would just be the opt-in page, the thank you page, and also the tutorial. And if that's all you need, that's great. So I'm in the process of making that while I'm updating these new, updating my templates. So yeah, this is everything in a nutshell. I hope I was able to help some people out and make some sense for you guys with Elementor. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that was great. Sorry, I'm talking and I'm muted. that was fantastic, and you have everybody's really excited about it, and I just want to go through some of these questions. If I miss anything as I'm scrolling through, because I'm pretty sure I lost track of some of these questions, just add them to the Q&A instead of the chat so that I can see them there. But I'll start with the ones that I know I saw in chat.
Okay.
Deanna's question is, if she has a theme but she hates it, she can add Elementor and should be able to make it look similar to what you have.
Yes.
Okay. And we talked about, you mentioned in the beginning, Elementor does work with Genesis, so that's good. That's like a favorite around here. My homepage isn't accessible via Pages. It's through the customize option on top of the screen. Can I still use this?
Customization. I believe yes, because I came across that problem for a member earlier. What happened was when she uploaded her theme, she didn't actually assign a homepage. So when she was like, I can't create my homepage, I'm like, well, we went in the back end of WordPress, and I realized under settings, she didn't have it set up as to a static page and saying, okay, for your home, you need to select homepage. For your blog post, your blog post needs to be on a page that is named blogs, because when you upload a WordPress the theme, by default, it's just going to populate what's the theme. But you actually have to go and assign a homepage, meaning you have to create a new page and title it home and title it blog post to that. And then you'll be able to customize it and change it around the way you want to change it.
Okay. So if they need help with that, can they poke you in Slack?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is there a way to, I'm going to just ask the question because I don't really know the answer, and I'm going to pretend that I do. Is there a way to test this on a different page so that you're not messing up your home page before you want to make it live?
Definitely. Just like what I showed you was, you were on my website. I just created a test page. I just titled it test and put it and saved it in draft. And I just basically start playing around with it. And then if I like what I see, then what you can do is rename it. Because once it's in draft, you can do whatever you want. Then if you want it, when you're done, it says Elementor gives you the option to publish the page. But in order to do that, you have to give it the name of what page you want it to be. So if you're saying I'm going to tinker around with it in the back end without messing up what I already currently have, and then if it's to my liking, then what you would do is just rename it, and then that will be your home page.
Okay, perfect. I'm just scrolling through. So can you put Elementor sections on non-Elementor pages?
You can, but I've noticed that when that has happened, depending on the theme, sometimes it can change your layout a bit. So you would kind of have to mess around with it.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, you would have to kind of mess around with it, because I have like I said, I'm using Astra. I know, like, for example, my blog page, it just doesn't work for some reason because of the coding that they use for the actual blog layout page. It just didn't work for me. So I just left it as is. But when it came to like people seeing my recent posts or whatever, that was an actual block I created. And then I was able to use it without a problem after that. So, yeah.
There's a few people that would like to reach out for customizing or templates. Is Slack the best for that, Cassie?
If you want to reach me in real time, like we see, these are all email. Real time, it's Cassie P at Elementor, and then of course create a website and so forth. But yeah, if you want to reach me in real time, I would advise to use Slack, or you can go ahead and submit through the email. But usually I'm quick to answer you in Slack because I always have my phone with me. So if I'm out and about, I can answer you right away, or when I'm home, I get it, and we can just, exchange information and go from there, pretty much.
Do you need Elementor Pro for your landing page templates?
No, you don't. I made it that way so that you can be able to use it for if you had free or pro. Because like I said, my target audience are people who are just starting out, and I'm just kind of guiding them with ways around getting started when they have limited amount of money, but they have the time. Because I know when I first started on my journey, I didn't really have money to like invest in a certain thing. So I'm passing along the knowledge. And so, like I said, the reason why I love Elementor Page Builder is because they give you the options to use it and play around with it. And then if you need more, you can go for pro. But if you're just starting out and you're not a big design geek like myself, then like I said, there's ways around making sure it works for you. So yeah.
And Deanna, what last question? Unless you guys want to add anything, Deanna wants to know: will you do the customizing of the templates too?
If you want me to, yes, I can do that. I've done that for a few members. They purchased the templates for me, but then they started and then got stuck. So then I just charge a small fee and just to do it for you. And it worked out pretty great. And just give me what you want. Because I know there's two types of people that I target, which are the people who have the money to pay, but they don't have the time to do it. And then there's the people who don't have that much money and they have the time. So what I try to do is try to give tutorials in a sense to help walk them through. But if they have questions, they can Slack me, or if they're just beyond frustrated and overwhelmed, then I come in and pretty much take over, but then I try to educate them so that they can be able to be on their way later on. But I don't have any problem. Like I have a few of my past people on the group, in our group, who's, reached out to me and say, hey, I have a question about this. And I just give them the answer on Slack and it's fine.
Good.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions, guys? I cannot keep these to an hour. I try really hard, but I just can't do it.
What happened there? But time flies when we're having fun.
It does. I think you covered everything, Cassie. That was awesome. That was really, really informative, and everybody seems really excited either to have you help or to just try it on their own, which I think is great. And I'll send out the recording in a bit. I think it's going to be really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You guys,
You're welcome.
this is my first webinar, so I'm actually very grateful you guys showed up.
You can check it off the bucket list. Webinar done.
Because this is the very first time I've done something like this out of my comfort zone, but
you did great.
To do it for our members. So yeah.
It was awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll let you know when the recording's ready.
Oh, and by the way, this slide, Mary Beth will give it to you guys as well, because I gave her a copy. So if you want to go through it, and I can provide you some other links through Slack if you want to just look at some. They have a YouTube channel for Elementor.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
They have pretty cool stuff, but like I said, for someone who might not grasp it right away, they might feel overwhelmed, which is fine. But I'll answer your questions, just Slack me and you'll find me on there. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, send those to me. I'll get this started downloading and uploading and downloading again, and I'll send it out. And thank you again, Cassie. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
You
guys
welcome.
have a good one.
You too. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.